Hi folks, I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my Trump cartoon countdown for December 15th, 2020. Glad to see you folks, glad to see you back. And before I get started, I'd like to tell you about my 3 books that I've written before. I'm completing my 4th book for 2020, the entire year of the Trump presidency. And I would like to just show you the books that I've done in the past. And yeah, that's good. Okay. And this was from 2016 and the 2016 election. Takes you through right through 2018, and it's like an encyclopedia of cartoons. Gives you the whole history of the Trump administration through 2018. You see all the characters from the past. And his Supreme Court justice with Trump that he got onto the court. Didn't do much good in the final analysis, but there it was. Okay. There's Trump with President Putin of Russia. There's President Trump for Foreign Affairs. Here's a flashback. Let's see here. Well, here you can recognize these people. There's Roseanne. There's one of Roseanne. There's the Pentagon. Trump knocking down the Pentagon to build his wall, taking some stock out of the Pentagon. The Mickey Mouse. There's President Trump in Saudi Arabia doing a sword dance with the his first Secretary of State. There's the leader of Israel, Netanyahu. Here's Stephen Miller. So anyway, that was the first book I did, and here's the second book. For the second year in 2019, it was broken into 2 parts, edition 1 and edition 2 for the first half of the year. Here we have the leader of North Korea and President Trump in a tweet. Here we have John Bolton, tweeting in response to President Trump. Okay, here's President Trump in Japan. He took a trip to Japan, and they presented him, and he's saying here, now good time me what a siren for North Korea missile drill. In Japan, you know, this is his thinking. The leader of Japan's thinking at the time when Trump was there, saying there's no, well, good, we got it made with North Korea. That was when he was speaking up that line with the love relationship. So now a good time for me to put an air raid drill. That's the leader of Japan thinking that as President Trump is visiting Japan there. These are all flashbacks. I don't want to. Okay, that's that. And here was the 3rd book I did, and the greatest 2019 book of political cartoons and issues of the Donald J. Trump presidency, edition 2, July through December, the last of 2019. And then we had here. See, some from Hogan's Heroes I drew, making some sort of a comparison here. I know nothing. Here's Rudy Giuliani. Here's Trump showing his Syrian strategy here with a map. Okay, I believe this is Erdogan of Turkey with the president of Russia, Putin, and Trump watching them here from the Oval Office. And there's George Washington rolling his eyes there over the mantelpiece there. Well, you get the idea. It covers all the events of the year 2019 through Trump presidency. And I think it's a value because it gives you it's historical, it's sort of like an encyclopedia of cartoons of history. It's history combined with cartoons. And it gives you, if you ever want to look back on references to things that happen, you'll have something to look back and see. And it's good, I would think would be good for political students of political science or history, for any along those lines, because it's all dated and it's all the context of what happened there and everything is in the cartoon. So you really can grasp the meaning of a cartoon and go back in time and take a look back. So anyway, and if you don't want to buy any of my books, that's great. Just go to Richard's Books of Political Cartoons.com. No spaces, no apostrophe on the Richards, just like a plural Richards. Richard's Books of Political Cartoons.com, and you can see samples from all my books that I've written, including my 2020 book coming up. And this is the cover of that book. See, what they did is they put on a muter so that after the first debate with Biden and Trump, it didn't go so well. It was a little rambunctious there. So they put down a silencer. So here's President Trump with his thing bypassing that. It says muted mic, but he's bypassing that, saying lock him up with his, in response to Biden here, with his microphone. And there's, he gets, there. That's a cover to my 2020 book coming out in early January sometime for the entire year of 2020. Okay, so let's have a go at the countdown for today, December 15th, 2020. The countdown of cartoons of the week. We got a lot to talk about. Here we go. This is one I did actually today, just occurred, where President Trump has basically, Barr put in his wrote a letter of resignation, and I'm sure it had a lot to do with the timing of it, let's just say President-elect Biden. At that, minutes later, after President-elect Biden, the count on the Electoral College confirmed his victory. President Trump tweeted that Attorney General Barr would be resigning. And I'm sure that's a backdoor way. Could be. I'm not sure of anything. I'm just saying, I'm just hypothesizing a backdoor way of firing him through Twitter, because that's how, that's been the way it's been going. So anyway, this is a cartoon I did. Might not be, but I'm just guessing at it. Anyway, this is what occurred here, and I did a little joke about it, in that Trump multitasking, he's doing two things, while tweeting the below to announce his Attorney General William Barr will be stepping down just minutes after Biden is affirmed in Electoral College votes to be president-elect. in the wake of Barr disputing the president's claims of widespread voter fraud. So President Trump was not too happy with his Attorney General Barr. For the first time, he really stood up and said, there's no evidence here of widespread voter fraud. So that was really curtains for the Attorney General, in spite of the fact of his loyalty, past loyalty, and everything else. It just didn't hold. It just didn't hold, you know. And the president publicly announcing his criticism of Barr for not doing more to help him overthrow the results of the presidential election. So that was to President Trump. That was crossing the Rubicon. You didn't help me with my election fraud accusations, so therefore you're not qualified to be Attorney General for the United States. So here's President Trump now tweeting. So he's doing two things here. See, he's doing two things. First, he has here's his cell phone that he tweets on. Okay, his iPhone. I guess it's I think it has an iPhone. An iPhone, and here's the dartboard, and here's Barr. Here's the clock. Here's the door. Just a little background here. There's some other things I drew from the White House Oval Office to put in the two. Okay, so here we got it. There he is. Okay, so this is President Trump, his actual tweet. Just had a very nice meeting with Attorney General Bill Barr at the White House. Our relationship has been a very good one. He has done an outstanding job. As per letter, Bill will be leaving just before Christmas to spend the holidays with family. So, and there is the dart, and he's throwing a dart at him while he's tweeting it, because I'm sure he was angry at that moment when it appears. I make the joke, I give you the facts, you decide. That's what I always say. I don't want to be injecting and telling you how to think. You think, but I give you the facts as good as I can get them, and the jokes as funny as I can make them, and then you decide. So anyway, that's the story here. He's multitasking, speaking. He's tweeting on his cell phone, the tweet here, and then he's throwing the dart at Barr. Barr is now on the dartboard in the Oval Office here. There he is. There's President Trump. Okay. We do this in order of popularity. I don't know how popular that's going to be. It just came out today, so I just threw that in. But these are generally in order of popularity. So we go down to number one. So this is in order of popularity on Twitter. Oh, if you want to see my cartoons on Twitter, you can do that too. It's Bronx Cartoonist at RJF Cartoons. Handle RJF Cartoons. But Bronx Cartoon. I'm from the Bronx. So anyway, here we go. Originally I've been down a long time ago, you know, but I'm proud of having, it was a good area to be brought up in and raised, and got into fights here and there, but you survived, you know. Taught you a lesson in how to survive coming out of the Bronx. You know, with street wars between the Nelson Avenue kids and the Shakespeare and all these streets and everything. We used to have battle like countries. Each block was like a country unto itself, you know. So anyway, it was a tough area that I grew up in, and I somehow made it through. So it taught me a lot in life when how to kind of just to stick up for my rights without making waves, and do whatever you have to do as long as you stay in the confines of doing the right thing. But anyway, getting back to this. So this is a one here with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Okay, now what's going on here is Trump private conversation with Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, following McCarthy saying he would first vote in favor of national defense authorization. So that's the NDA, and that program is for the military. It supports pay raises for the military people, and it provides for military equipment and for modernizations. And it's a crucial thing. It's been passed every year for 59 years. Now President Trump says, well, he was threatening to hold it up if he didn't get, and he's a little angry at the social media for not, for a lot of things, for, I guess, for flagging some of his statements on the voter fraud or whatever have you, feeling, and he's mentioned in times that they're not conservative enough in their editing of remarks and such and such. So I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying that. But here's the cartoon, and so he's congratulating. Now he's going to. McCarthy has been one of the people who's been a really, really strong supporter of President Trump, and kind of is going along with President Trump's allegations of voter fraud, and that President Trump at the time, I don't know how it is today, after this, this is a turning point here with the Electoral College. We saw Sing-Along Mitch. I always call him Sing-Along Mitch McConnell because he sang along with the president. Today he didn't sing along with the president. He came out and said, it's over. Basically, the fat lady has sung. Mitch McConnell, he admitted that Joe Biden is the president-elect of the United States to be president. So this is the first time. So I can't call him Sing-Along Mitch anymore. I could in a historical sense, but I take that back now in a way, since today he did write himself into certain small extent, a little bit too late, all the things that went on these past few years that he let go of. I can't say, but I guess it's up to you to decide on Mitch McConnell. But anyway, today he did one good thing for a change, and that was to acknowledge that Joe Biden is the president-elect of the United States, which is a milestone for him, So I'm not saying forget about the past on him, because he's got, you just decide on that. So anyway, so here he is in that mind frame. I guess that this was before the Electoral College vote. Mr. President, congratulations on your great victory, especially in those swing states. And then he goes, Kevin, all we need are people with wisdom and courage. Those are President Trump's actual words, people with wisdom and courage. And the termination of Section 30, which that gives the social media the right to edit things that people say that are not true or that are harmful to our democracy and things like that. It gives them the power to do that, and it gives them, at the same time, it gives them protection from people who put things on. They can't be sued for the statements other people make. So it's a thing that protects them, and it protects the people of the United States at the same time. So it promotes national security. So President and on military. So on this military this bill NDAA is for. So he's saying that President Trump is saying it takes away from national security. So I'm just telling you the facts here. So anyway, so he says, congratulations on your great, especially on those swing states. And then, Kevin, all we need are people with courage and wisdom, and the termination of Section 230 with that liberal Decency Act law. It was called the Communications Decency Act law, which empowers online platforms to remove harmful and dangerous misinformation to only liberals and works hard against our victory. Okay? And then he says here, Kevin McCarthy goes here, he goes, I agree, Mr. President, no social media platform should have the right to flag your words of victory. I will convey your patriotic message to my fellow House Republicans. Okay? And then here's President Trump retorting to that. Okay? And he's saying, Kevin, tell them to bring their checkbooks to my Victory 2024 rally in Florida on January 20th, 2021, just in case. So President Trump is planning an alternate to the inauguration celebration. He's going to have his own gig on on announcing his re-election campaign for 2024 in a different area. So that's going to be whether Fox will cover the inauguration or will cover President Trump. They're going to have to make their decision, or any other, But anyway, so here is the and there's Kevin McCarthy sitting on the couch in the Oval Office there. And there's President Trump. Now, I don't like to read these things because it gets... I'll just to introduce you to it. Trump's constitutional battle of the bulge with lawmakers, given the president's tweet, "We have just begun to fight." So I said, they asked John Paul Jones, was a naval hero during the Revolutionary War, and he was in the English saw that his ship was damaged badly, and he was outnumbered, and they asked him if he was going to surrender, and he said, "I've just begun to fight." So President Trump took that on as his mantra, and he says, "We have just begun to fight," in the words of John Paul Jones, close to it. An excerpt from another tweet. Now, Justices Alito and Thomas say they would have allowed Texas to proceed with its election lawsuit. So given the arithmetic here, if these two and then the three justices that President Trump appointed voted against hearing his case for basically not allowing the people of those four states to have their votes count. And he was saying that there was still a fraud and those votes are invalid. So he wanted to present this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said they didn't have any standing. But for one state to bring charges against another state doesn't have a standing, because who's one state to say that it's 50 states or governed by the theory of federalism, which gives states rights. That's inherent in the Constitution, states' rights. The states can have their own way of conducting elections. So who is any state to come in and go against this federalist approach to say, well, we're taking action on this and that, So anyway, so the court on that basis ruled that Texas didn't have a standing to bring this action against those four states. So that was the thing here. So here's President Trump. Now he can't no longer go to the Supreme Court this way, but it's still his only avenue is through the Supreme Court. So in that debacle here, I hypothesized what he could do, because for a fact, President Trump did say he's going to address the House of Representatives and try to get something going there. But that's the Democratic. That's the majority there are Democrats. So I don't understand what his reasoning is, but anyway, he just wants to make his case, and you take it from there. I'm not going to go any further with that one. But anyway, so here's something he might have considered at one point. I don't know, but I just kind of made this up. It's a little bit, but it's interesting. So here's what I made up. If he were to go before, he is going to go before the House. And this is what I kind of made up. Okay, on behalf of some of the things here he did actually say. But anyway, it's on behalf of the fantastic people of the United States who know there has never been a president like President Trump, that he did say. I think he said that at one point. I now ask that lawmakers fast-track a bill to grant me and future presidents the power to fire any Supreme Court justice who they appoint during their term in office for any breach in their constitutional duties, which would include any justice who does not find standing in an original jurisdiction matter between multiple states. The Constitution does not say that. and including the President of the United States, which is absurd as enumerated in the Constitution. So, anyway. And for the Republican rhinos, so the Republicans who are not with President Trump, who are supporting democracy, they're called Republican rhinos now. Republican rhinos who do not support me, read the Constitution, get me my day in court with my 3 new justices. So he's got, let's say he has Alito, Justice Alito, and then he has the other justice, Justice Thomas. So he needs 3 more, the 3 that he appointed. So all he has to do is fire the 3 that he appointed and put in 3 more, and he's got 5 to 4. So he could do something there, in his term of office. So that was the arithmetic behind that cartoon that I just showed you here. There's President Trump with his huge microphone there. And he has here, you can see he has 3 fingers up, you see? He's got 3 fingers right here. There's the three justices that he'd want to replace the 3 justices that he appointed for not supporting him. So he needs 3 justices. Get me my 3 justices. There they are. Okay. Now here is a flashback that I did of Ted Cruz. This is right in the history books. Ted Cruz flashback. Given reportedly President Trump asked Cruz, AKA Lying Ted, that was President Trump's name for Ted Cruz when he was running against him back in 2016, Lying Ted, to argue his lawsuit seeking to overturn the election results in so he's picked now Ted Cruz he had picked before it was turned down, before the Supreme Court refused to hear the case, he had picked Ted Cruz to represent him to the Supreme Court. The Texas case was going to be represented by Ted Cruz to the Supreme Court. So, and Ted Cruz is from Texas. He's a senator from Texas, so I guess in that sense it was appropriate in a way. Seeking to overturn election results in 4 battleground states, should the Supreme Court agree to take it up, and giving Cruz agreed to do so. Cruz agreed to do so. Okay, so anyway, so this is from March 24th, 2016. This is in my 2016 book. This is one of them. So I just took this out of that and put it here. Ted Cruz slams Donald Trump over latest attack from him, March 24th, 2016. To Hillary from the GOP. To Hillary from the GOP. And then Cruz goes on to say, Trump is a gift-wrapped president, is a gift-wrapped present with a pink little bow for Hillary Clinton, meaning that the way he's speaking and the way he could never win the election, no way, and he's just a gift for Hillary Clinton. So then I drew President Trump in a gift box for Hillary Clinton. There's Hillary Clinton smiling and waving her hand, and there's the box with the red decorations, and there's the pink bow on top that Cruz was talking about, gift with a pink little bow for Hillary Clinton. There's Hillary Clinton's pink little bow. There's Hillary Clinton. Didn't work out that way, but it was an interesting flashback, and I put it in there because it's relevant to take a look back in this point. This cartoon I thought was relevant to today, to see how wrong we can be about what's going to happen, and how important it is to really, before we vote, to research and to think about it, and because we never know how it's going to go, and we have to do our best on our own to research and make the best decision. We can't say, well, if the polls say this, I'm not going to vote. You can't do that. So there it is. Okay. Okay, so now I want to going down. We're getting there. Ted Cruz was a winner this week. He was a winner. A lot of people on Twitter really liked the cartoons of Ted. Got into Ted Cruz. So this is coming towards the number one of the week. Okay, now here's Ted Cruz. A little different now as years gone by. The beard and everything, a few more gray hairs on the side anyway. Okay, so here goes. Ted Cruz. Trump picked to argue his Texas lawsuit seeking to overturn the election results in 4 states before the Supreme Court. Watch his word. Now he's watching this, that the court rejected Texas and the president's bid to challenge Vice President-elect Biden's victory. So here's Ted Cruz watching that on television, that the court rejected President Trump's case, and Texas, it was a combination of Texas, in a way, Texas was representing, well, they were signing on with Trump, and they were doing, and Cruz was basically representing Trump and Texas in reality. So, anyway, here's this. Here's his thoughts, possible thoughts. Okay. Here he is, watching it. He's thinking, thank God when I run again in 2024, he can't call me Lying Ted like back in 2016, which he did. Call him. And then he goes, and then he has a second thought, and he says, then who the F.K knows? Blank, who the F blank blank K knows? So we never know what President Trump's going to do. So if he runs, he might do it again. Who knows? He had a second thought about it. There's Ted Cruz in front of the TV set watching that the court had rejected their to review their case, to try their case. So he's giving fingers up, and down deep in his heart, he's probably hoping. Well, anyway, I don't want to go into that. I give you the joke, and I give you the facts. You decide. Okay, now this is number one of the week, and big time. Nothing came close. Nothing came close to this. This cartoon really took off. So here it is again. Ted Cruz. Now here we have. Remember the formula? The formula was why Trump could never have lost. The great formula, like Einstein has his theory E equals mc squared. Remember Einstein's theory E equals mc squared to explain to basically his theory of relativity. So here we have the theory of why President Trump could not have lost in these states, in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now we have a new theory to go down in history with that E equals mc squared from Einstein. This is less than 1 in quadrillion chances of Trump losing in all 4 states if there was no fraud involved. So he's saying because of the fraud, that's what took it. But if there was no fraud, there was less than 1 in 4 trillion to the 4th power now, to the 4th power, to the 4th power. Einstein went E equals mc squared. He had it to the 2nd power. Trump, they're taking it to the 4th power. It's even more powerful, a more powerful theory than E equals mc squared because they're going to the 4th power. MC squared went only to the 2nd power. So this is a much more powerful theory. There it is. There's the theory. 4th power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets of 3 zeros. Less than, those people who remember their algebra, that's a less than 1 sign. Okay. So, anyway, Trump picked to argue his Texas lawsuit seeking to overturn the election results in 4 battleground states. Ted Cruz of Texas preparing his statistical argument. Now, this is before the Supreme Court turned him down. Should the Supreme Court agree to take up the case, before the U.S. Supreme Court rejected it. Okay? So here, this is what he's going to present to the Supreme Court. Okay? November 4th, 3 a.m. They kind of just put it at, according to the, I don't know whether they use a Ouija board or whether they use astrological signs or whether they used an advanced computer. I don't know, but they came up with November 4th, the day after the election at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. in the morning sharp. It had to be at 3 a.m. You know? Kind of like Hillary Clinton's 3 a.m. Remember Hillary Clinton's 3 a.m. call? She got a call at 3 a.m. You're going to be ready at 3 a.m. Well, 3 a.m. is a popular time for politicians to say 3 a.m. You know, 3 a.m. It's 4 a.m. It's 4 o'clock. Some people get up, but it's 2 o'clock. Some people are still up. 3 o'clock. Everybody's sleeping at 3 o'clock. So that's when all these things are most likely to happen. Okay. So anyway, November 4th, 3 a.m. Probability of Biden victory in all 4 defendant states. Less than 1 in quadrillion to the 4th power. There it is. And then here he goes. Here he goes. Well, I'll go here. All right. Here he is. And here he goes. Honorable justices of the Supreme Court. Here is the statistical thrust of our evidence of fraud that justifies our argument for asking the court to block the unlawful and constitutionally tainted votes about to be cast by electors from the key battleground states of Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Statistically, Joe Biden's chances of victory here were less than 1 in quadrillion to the 4th power, which is better than my chances of being re-elected to the Senate or being invited again to Mar-a-Lago if I lose this case. Okay? That's what he was thinking to himself here. You know? That's what this equation meant to him, you know? I guess that's what it meant to him. You know? This is a big number here to less than 1 to the trillion to the quadrillion to the 4th power. You know? I mean, so here he's saying to himself, well, that's better chances than I have with President Trump if I lose this case. And better chance, and the same thing with the people who elected me in Texas. So there you have it, folks. The number 1 of the week. Number 1 cartoon as of this week on Twitter. So again, that's Bronx Cartoonist or RJF Cartoons, handle RJF Cartoons on Twitter, and my Richard's Books of politicalcartoons.com without the apostrophe Richards, no apostrophe, just plain Richards. If you want to look up my books, I want to thank you folks for watching today my Trump cartoon countdown, and when we get to after January 20th, we start the Biden countdown. So I don't know how that's going to go, but there'll be something there. I'm sure of that. So anyway, I hope to see you folks again in 2021, and I'm going to continue on here and write it out. And I wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves. Exercise, sleep well, eat well, stay away from crowds, wear these masks. These masks drive me nuts, you know. I got glasses that fogged. I always say that. But you just got to hang in there, and you just got, even if you got to take an extra mask with you if they break or they get all messed up, you know, when you sneeze, take an extra mask with you. You got it in the car like a spare tire, you know. Maybe so. And I still always leave the house without. I got to go back again, and so. But that's how it is. You got to wear the mask because that's our lifeboat here. You know, like on the Titanic when they got into the lifeboat. So this is a lifeboat, and that's how you got to look at it. And I wish you all the best, folks, and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you at the next cartoon. And God bless America.